Hi, we're Mel and Lois.
We just bought a bus.
To convert to an RV.
What were we thinking?
Join us for the journey as we continue to take this bus apart so that we can rebuild it as our own custom RV. We've got all the seats out, starting to get them sorted. In the meantime, we're starting to get the wood out of the floor. Looks like the floor is rusted, a bit of surface rust, but nothing too bad that's going to have to be structurally changed. Most of the moisture and rot is in the plywood itself that's coming off as part of the subfloor, and we'll show you that, what that looks like. Making good progress. This is really only the second day, and we didn't get going here till afternoon. And we worked a bit a couple days ago on Friday afternoon, so we've really done all of this so far in what, about 6 hours? Something like that, so actually feeling pretty good about the progress. I know the inside, getting the wood off the floor is going to be a bit of a tedious process, but we've really made some good progress. Pretty happy with it so far. So we're pulling up the floor. We've gotten the back two sheets out, continuing to work it. What we've found is we don't have to get all the rubber off. We just have to expose the seams. On each side of the seam here, there's a screw. And if we get those out, there we go, all along the edge, then the whole piece of plywood will come out. So we've got a seam down the middle here, so when we take the walkway runner out, that exposes that. You can see the seam coming across this way. So here we need to expose, this is the only area we really have to take the rubber up. And you can just use a pry bar to get it up just about a couple inches on an inch or two on each side. And sometimes it's easier than others. So here is my tip for today. One of the challenges is getting out the plywood and the rubber flooring. The real challenge is this flooring is wet. And when it's wet, that means who knows what it's wet from. Could be some from rain, could be from who knows what spilled however many years ago, because once water gets under the rubber mat, it stays there. And it's not drying out, so it's probably pretty gross stuff, and it's rotten in places. So the tip is going to make this a whole lot easier, because once you get these sheets of plywood out, which are almost 4x8, when you lift them up, they're really, really heavy because the rubber on it and waterlogged, and it's just a lot to muscle around. So this is my trick for today. I cut a piece of 2x4, and so as I'm prying this up, what I'm going to do once I get it loose, I'm going to slide this 2x4 underneath, and I'm going to cut the plywood and get that to make it just a little bit easier to handle the smaller pieces then, and it won't be quite as backbreaking of work. This episode is brought to you by Gross Bus Cleaning Services. When you want your child's school bus to be clean and sanitary, you can count on Gross to make it look good while keeping lots of disgusting things under the surface. Oh So Gross Bus Cleaning Services. When clean doesn't matter. So between each of these windows, there are 3 of these screws with washers that go into the back side of the hat channel. So I've gone ahead and popped those off. Then it's pretty much just grabbing a little bit of under the edge there and getting it going. Watch, this one's going to be harder than all the other ones. But once it gets going, you just pop right out. Out of it and lifted. I'm really glad that we're doing this because the seals, the factory seals and caulking are really shot on here. So I do not believe that this bus is watertight. So for anybody contemplating doing your own Skoolie from a used bus, be aware that it may be worth taking the windows out and putting them back in just to make sure everything's sealed properly for it, because I would not want to trust this to keep water out of my bus after with all the nice finish and everything's done on the inside. So, yeah, but again, it's pretty easy. Just a simple pry bar, and then once it gets going, pop it out, pull it out of it, and then it's off, just like that. Away we go.
So we have all the chase off the sides. The next process is to start taking off the ceiling. So I'm going to start at the back and work forward. And one of the things that we love about this bus, it influenced our decision to buy this particular bus. It wasn't the only reason we chose to buy this particular bus. But one of the reasons we like this was because all the way through here, these are all screws. Many buses are completely riveted, and these are screws, which is going to be a huge time savings in getting all of this demoed. Let's do it.
It's now time to take the sheet metal off the inside walls of the bus, which means removing a lot more screws. Then breaking the spot welds along the top edge of the wall. I eventually moved to using an air chisel for this job. And then we need to remove the insulation. The emergency exit needed to go, which means removing even more screws and rivets. Today we're working on opening up all of the C channels. We need to open all these up here along the bus so that we can do the roof raise. We need to expose all of this on the outside. We have these panels here that cover it that are just for looks, and so we have to take those off. In order to do that, we have to pop these rivets. There's rivets all along the side here, and there's 6 going up this, so we're going to have to pop those rivets. We'll pop all the rivets along the top of this rub rail, because once we're done, we're going to pull this out just a little bit of drop sheet metal down in behind this, so that any water coming down the side of it doesn't go into the bus, but just sheds right down below. So that's the task for today. I think the left of the rivet is in there. We'll hammer that out with the punch. Try to pop that completely out. The 2003 Amtram has a high air intake for the engine and cooling. This uses a duct to bring the air down to the engine. We are removing this and lowering the air intake to gain more cabin space. This means removing still more screws. A few of these screws are in the very upper back corner, and they are rusted in place. So it's time to prop the ductwork out of the way and enter the space through the engine compartment to grind off the screw heads so that we can remove the duct. Hopefully, safely. One of these really awkward places to work. Within about a week, we have removed the interior of what used to be a school bus. Join us next time for the roof raise. Thanks for coming along on this journey with us. We'd love to hear your ideas and suggestions and questions. Put them in the comments down below.
And hit the like button, subscribe, and notification bell to follow us.
Thanks so much.
See you next time.